This is the point at which you should stop asking yourself if you can get away using AI to write books, blurbs, newsletters, or descriptions, and instead start asking if you can start by what you've written. Anthropic has now started to put watermarks on text generated by Claude, and since it doesn't matter whether or not you use Claude, this is a clear indication that the age of AI-generated writing is undergoing change. In August of 2026, Anthropic confirmed that the Claude models released on or after August 2nd include an invisible, machine-readable watermark that's directly incorporated into the text they produce. This being primarily in response to the transparency requirements set out in Article 50 of the EU AI Act, which came into effect on that same day. The watermark doesn't affect the meaning, quality, or readability of the text. It accompanies the text when it's copied and pasted and can withstand a certain amount of editing. Although extensive rewriting, paraphrasing, or translation can diminish or eliminate the signal. Anthropic also says it's working on adding the same marking to the older models. In the case of generated images and files, a different approach is taken. The C2PA provenance metadata is used instead of an embedded watermark. An important point to note is that the presence of a watermark only indicates that Claude at some stage has come into contact with the text. For example, through simple proofreading, translation, or correcting spelling, and not that Claude produced the text from scratch. Likewise, the absence of a watermark doesn't prove that a human was the one who wrote it. This method is not perfect, but it does reflect a clear trend within the industry, and other LLMs are following the same paths. Many authors hear about watermarks and become anxious.
Does this mean I can no longer use AI? Will my books be flagged?
But the actual problem isn't the watermark itself. It's the way you're using AI in your author business. It isn't AI that's the issue. The real problem is treating it as if it was a ghostwriter that you hid behind rather than as a tool that you can guide, edit, and take responsibility for. Authors don't find themselves in difficulties because they use AI. Rather, it's because they've been given the wrong approach. Namely, the idea that AI is simply a way to write more books, upload them more quickly, and achieve sales faster. But publishing is not just about producing words. It's also about building trust. And if your business relies on readers trusting your name, your description, and your voice, then anything that damages that trust will have an impact on your business. It's understandable that this situation seems uncomfortable. Self-publishing already involves a large number of tasks, and at the same time, having to write the next book. So, when AI tools appeared, many authors experienced genuine relief in the form of quicker brainstorming, quicker blurbs, quicker outline, and faster rewrite. The subject of the discussion has changed. Retailers are now asking questions. Readers are asking questions as well. AI detection tools have been brought into conversation, as well as watermarking. Authors who had believed that they were using a writing assistant are being asked a much more significant question. What will happen when AI-generated writing becomes easier to trace? That question is not going to disappear. One reason why the situation seems disorganized is the bad advice was quickly disseminated. For example, using AI to overwhelm the market, producing content to manipulate public opinion, publishing faster than anyone else, and omitting the difficult steps. This kind of advice was appealing because authors are weary and want a sense of momentum, income, and a catalog that, in fact, earns money. Shortcut advice generally fails to take into account the long-term costs. If you base your catalog on work that you can't explain, verify, or be proud to put your name to, then you're not creating freedom, but increasing risk. Also, as the tools become more traceable, that risk becomes harder to ignore. This update goes beyond just one company since it shows the direction the industry is moving in. AI-generated content is becoming less unseen, and more platforms, schools, retailers, and readers are seeking ways to find out where the content comes from. It doesn't mean that all uses of AI are wrong, or that there are no value in work carried out with AI, or that you should feel guilty about using it to come up with a title or to edit a paragraph. What it does mean is that you need a better system, since the writer who uses AI carelessly and the writer who uses it professionally are not engaging in the same practice. In one case, judgment is being outsourced, while in the other, the tool is being used as part of a controlled process. It's important to make this distinction. If you type in a prompt, copy the response, and then paste it into your book with little or no review, that's one way of using it. If you use AI to generate ideas, compare different outlines, summarize your own notes, or produce a preliminary draft that you then thoroughly rewrite, fact-check, and adapt to your own voice, that's a totally different approach. The thing you should do as a publisher is not to try and pretend that the tools aren't available. Instead, you have to make sure the quality of the final product by knowing precisely what part AI played, and also whether it made any claims that needs to be verified or produced any language that was copied directly. Different actions carry different levels of responsibility. When you publish on Amazon KDP, your book appears in a marketplace based on readers' trust. Customers are already evaluating your cover, title, descriptions, reviews, sample, and author name. Once AI writing becomes more easily detected, the real issue won't be whether a platform is able to detect it, but whether your work seems trustworthy to an actual human reader. That's something many authors fail to understand. Although readers might never be able to detect the tools that were used, they can always tell when a book is thin, general, or padded. They can tell when a nonfiction book makes big claims but actually delivers little, or when the emotional moments in a romance seem to have been put together rather than experienced generally, and when a book lacks a true author's voice. Even though watermarking might make AI-generated content more detectable, reader experience has always been detectable. They won't say it's AI. They'll call it boring, shallow, and not worth finishing. And that's what ultimately damages sales in the long run. The change in mindset should be that you shouldn't create a catalog which you wouldn't be able to describe if you're questioned about it. If someone asks you how a book had been produced, would you be able to give an honest answer? It doesn't mean you have to explain each tool to every individual. What it does mean is that you need to have standards. Since your author name is not just a label on the cover, it functions as a signal of trust. Each book you publish either builds up that trust or damages it. And if you're aiming to establish a genuine business, trust grows over time. Those readers who trust you will return, while those who feel misled won't. To make it clear, AI is still useful, and I'm not saying you should get rid of all the tools and instead carry out every task in the old way. It's truly helpful for coming up with ideas, descriptions, newsletter ideas, series concepts, etc. It can help you overcome mental blocks, organize disjointed thoughts, test various ways of explaining the same idea, identify gaps in an outline, or create your upload day checklist. What is essential is that AI aid your thinking rather than take over your judgment, especially when it comes to important content, in which case it's necessary to have human review. It's one thing to produce a simple brainstorming list. It's quite another to publish a book, to write a sales page, to make a nonfiction claim, or to deal with any matter relating to law, health, finance, or spirituality. Any material that bears your name as an author must be judged by your own standards. If AI is used in your publishing business, then establish a real process rather than merely having a vague notion. Begin with your own idea. Make certain you know what the book is meant to do, who it's for, and what it promises, and only use AI in cases where it actually provides help, not everywhere just because it's available. Even when it helps you to work out an outline, you're the one who decides what should be included. If it prepares a section for you, you have to rewrite it in your own style. When it provides you with some facts, you must check them before publishing. This approach protects you and results in better books since the AI is no longer in control of the business. You take charge. Some authors are concerned that this will slow things down, but a hasty AI process only appears to be fast until it causes issues. The review suffers, the readers begin to lose trust in the catalog, the platform alters a rule, and then all of a sudden you have to redo the covers, descriptions, and sales pages that were hastily prepared the first time. At first, a professional approach may be slower, but it does provide stability, and that kind of stability is actually what a long-term author business requires. You shouldn't aim to publish the most books in the shortest period of time. What you should do is publish books that add to the catalog. The platforms keep changing. Changes occur with KDP, with the royalty rates, with the categories, with the AI tools, with their retailer rules, and with reader expectation. The authors who manage to cope with these changes aren't those who are always looking for shortcuts. They've developed flexible systems. They know things about their readers, maintain control over the quality of their work, understand the importance of metadata, protect their brand, and keep a record of their process. They don't get upset each time there's a change to the platform because their business has never been based on concealment. When you take pride in your process, transparency doesn't become something to be afraid of. Look at the points in your current workflow where you use AI. Then decide where you would need more human oversight, whether that involves more rewriting in your own voice, more thorough fact-checking, making a simple note in your project file about how the AI was used, or drawing a clear line that nothing is published unless you would not hesitate to explain it. This is not about fear, it's about professionalism. The fact that Claude generated text contains a watermark is not the result of an AI producing a news article. It serves the same time as a warning and a chance. As a warning, the AI-generated writing is becoming easier to trace, and this may cause authors who depend on secret shortcuts to feel greater pressure as the industry changes. As an opportunity, it gives you the chance to take a better route by using AI thoughtfully, protecting your own voice, improving your process, and publishing books that you truly feel proud to stand behind. Don't base your author business on content that you merely hope no one ever doubts. Instead, build it on clarity, quality, and a process that you can defend, since tools will continue to change. But it's your name, your relationships with your readers, and the reputation of your catalog that are the real assets. If you're interested in continuing to learn how to use tools wisely without losing control of your publishing business, watch my tools, tutorials, and step-by-step playlist next. It will help you look at the tools, platforms, and systems involved in self-publishing with greater confidence. Watch that playlist next and keep on building an author business that's smart, flexible, and strong enough to last.